In the heart of New Jersey, cradled by the languid currents of the Metadeconk River, lay Brick, a town steeped in unassuming normality. Its suburban veneer, brittle and deceptive, concealed an underbelly as complex as the myriad hues of its fall foliage. Virgil Price, a man of quiet intensity whose every wrinkle bore the weight of 1,000 untold stories, was an anomaly in Brick. The years had chiseled him, his eyes weathered by too many storms, his smile tempered by time. Yet beneath his toughened exterior, there was a quiet kindness that was as comforting as it was rare. Virgil was a survivor, a beacon of resilience in the face of life's capricious whims. A particular case brought him to the steps of the local hospital, its sterile architecture a stark contrast to the inviting warmth of the town. He was met by Susan Carmichael, the hospital administrator, a stern, no-nonsense woman with sharp eyes that missed nothing. She handed him a series of art thefts from local galleries and private dealers that threatened the tranquil rhythm of Brick. "Unsettling business," she murmured, her eyes darting towards a bare wall, the ghostly absence of a painting evident in the dust-free rectangle. "People are becoming uneasy, Mr. Price." "Art theft is a peculiar menace for a hospital, Ms. Carmichael," Virgil noted, his voice softened by years of nicotine and coffee. The corner of his lips twitched, an echo of a smile that had learned to take things in stride. In the days that followed, he plunged into the labyrinthine world of art dealers and galleries, his days filled with endless dialogues with eccentric, bohemian individuals whose lives revolved around brushstrokes and palettes. He attended dimly lit auctions where the high and mighty of Brick gathered, their flamboyant chatter thinly veiling a collective unease. He began noticing certain patterns that were as jarring as they were inexplicable. Conversations that halted abruptly, eyes that darted nervously towards certain art pieces, laughter that rang hollow in the hushed whispers of the galleries. A town that once felt like a comforting lullaby was slowly morphing into a discordant nocturne. There was a piece of the puzzle that he couldn't quite get, a blind spot that gnawed at him. As days turned into weeks, his quest for truth transformed from a professional pursuit to a personal obsession. A brushstroke in the grand canvas of Brick was amiss, and he couldn't put a finger on it. His world began shrinking into the art-laden corners of Brick, each stolen painting a haunting reminder of the mystery he was knee-deep in. The town's deceptive serenity was dissipating, giving way to a chilling secret that was as insidious as it was unfathomable. The quiet autumn air was filled with the bitter taste of suspense as he plunged deeper into the mystery, his every step taking him closer to a world he never thought existed in the heart of Brick. As the final autumn leaf fell, marking the end of an era, he was left staring at the bare skeleton of the town, its deceptive serenity stripped away, revealing the promise of a cold, dark winter. As winter draped its icy shroud over Brick, Virgil found himself further immersed in the chilling puzzle. The normality of the town now felt like a distant memory, a mirage in the midst of the stark realities he was uncovering. He visited every art dealer in town, poring over portfolios, deciphering the eerie symbology of the stolen artworks. The subject matter was grotesque, the form disconcertingly macabre, and yet they held an inexplicable allure that beckoned him into their nightmarish world. In a clandestine meet with a local dealer, Bartholomew Jenkins, in the dimly lit corner of a quiet cafe, he encountered an unsettling revelation. Jenkins, a character as eccentric as his vibrant collection, spoke with an intense, hushed voice. The stolen art, they all shared one artist, one theme. He paused, swallowing hard. Ancient deities, twisted realms beyond our own. A shiver ran down Virgil's spine as he listened, his keen gaze burrowing into the dealer. Why would anyone covet such dark works? Jenkins leaned back, his eyes flickering with fear and fascination. Some believe art is a gateway, Mr. Price, a bridge to places beyond mortal comprehension. The once bustling town of Brick felt eerily quiet, its life force sapped by the biting winter. A palpable unease hung in the air, chilling his bones deeper than the frost ever could. The stolen artworks had cast a long shadow over the town, leaving him in the cold, scrambling for fragments of truth. Within the hospital, an anomaly began to emerge. Night shift nurses spoke of odd events, murmuring prayers under their breaths, whispering of strange apparitions in the periphery of their vision. A chill wind seemed to sweep through the sterile corridors, carrying whispers of ancient incantations. On one such cold night, Virgil encountered Dr. Graham Hayes, a distinguished surgeon known for his surgical prowess and love for the arts. Their conversation circled the stolen art, the doctor's voice resonating with a hidden fervor as he talked about the beauty within the macabre. His eyes, a mirror of the haunting paintings, carried a distant gaze that seemed to look beyond Virgil, beyond the hospital, beyond the realm of human comprehension. In a hidden corner of the hospital, Virgil chanced upon an assembly of notable figures. The hospital's elite, prominent art dealers and the mayor, huddled in a clandestine congregation. Their whispered exchanges, fraught with urgency, hinted at their potential involvement in the thefts. But their motivations, like the depth of a bottomless abyss, remained shrouded in mystery. A tangible sense of dread crept into Virgil's heart. The stolen art pieces, the abnormal behavior of the townsfolk, the secret society, all pointed to a larger, darker truth that lay just beyond his grasp. The cold winds of brick seemed to whisper a warning as he ventured further into the labyrinth of mystery. The deceptive serenity of the town, now a mere ghost of the past. As winter's grasp tightened over brick, Virgil's journey spiraled further into the enigmatic heart of the town. The once familiar landscape now appeared to be a distorted reflection in a funhouse mirror, its disturbing truths skulking in the shadowed corners. The secret society he had unearthed seemed to dance on the periphery of his consciousness, an insidious wisp of a nightmare. The individuals, familiar faces in daylight, wore a cloak of secrecy that seemed to darken their countenance. Virgil, ever the observer, noticed their sly exchanges, their subtle nods, the shared looks of an understanding deeper and darker than the frigid winter night. Intrigued and apprehensive, he contrived a plan to infiltrate their clandestine assembly, a cloak and dagger affair that would reveal the beating heart of the mystery that had consumed him. His entrance into the society was marked by a disturbing ritual. In the bowels of the hospital, beneath the sterilized wards and bustling corridors, he discovered an unholy sanctum. The walls were draped in stolen artwork, their grotesque visages leering at him from all corners. In the center stood an unholy altar, a large painting, the haunting depiction of an ancient deity, the object of their worship. As the congregation began their ominous chant, an icy dread gripped him. Their voices merged into a monstrous chorus that seemed to echo from the very bowels of the earth. The deity in the painting seemed to pulsate, its dark aura seeping into the room, intertwining with the tangible fear that clung to the frigid air. As the chant reached its cacophonous climax, he felt reality warp around him. The solid hospital walls wavered, the stolen art rippled, and the congregation's bodies distorted, their human shapes warping into grotesque parodies. Time and space seemed to coil and uncoil, an eldritch power bubbling from the painted deity, seeping into the room, their reality, his reality. He witnessed the birth of an insidious truth, the veil lifted from the cosmic horror that had been lurking within brick. The stolen art served not just as a conduit to the entity, but as an anchor, tethering the unspeakable terror to their world. As he staggered from the catacomb-like room, he carried with him a horrifying understanding. Brick was not just a town tormented by art theft. It was the stage for an otherworldly play, a cosmic dance of ancient entities and human pawns. Haunted by the revelations, he wrestled with the chilling reality. He was walking a tightrope between his sanity and the abyss that now gaped at him from the heart of the mundane. The familiar comfort of Brick was forever tainted by the shadows lurking behind reality, his resolve tested as he teetered on the brink of the next chilling chapter. The world that Virgil had once known was unraveled, a ghastly tapestry depicting the dreadful underbelly of reality. Every brick and mortar of the town, every stolen artwork, every secretive whisper, all resonated with the horrifying chorus of an otherworldly presence. He walked through Brick, its serene normality a cruel charade, its very foundations harboring an unfathomable evil. Yet, amid the despair, there was a spark, a yearning for the truth, a stubborn refusal to succumb to the shadows. For Virgil, the search for truth had become a beacon in the numbing void. The weight of his revelation bore down on him, his nights filled with the terror-stricken faces of the stolen paintings, the ominous chants of the secret society, the terrifying pulse of the ancient deity. Yet within the heart of this cosmic horror, he discovered an unexpected resilience, an anchor against the relentless tide of terror. He found himself drawn to Dr. Hayes, the surgeon whose fervor for the macabre had first alarmed him. He confronted the doctor, his voice laden with an acute desperation. The doctor, perhaps affected by Virgil's profound sincerity, revealed a weakness in the ancient deity, a window of opportunity in its cyclical need for sustenance. Armed with this knowledge, Virgil set about his plan to cut the tether, binding the deity to their reality. His investigation shifted from passive observation to a daring, active sabotage, his actions orchestrated in the shrouded hours of the night. He found the original source of the deity's power, a hidden painting, the masterpiece within the hospital's bowels. It pulsated with a malignant life, the brushstrokes writhing like living tendrils. His fingers traced the ghastly figure, and he could feel the vibrations of its grotesque existence. Risking his sanity, he plunged his knife into the painting, tearing through the canvas, a stifled scream echoing within the clandestine chamber. A sudden release of energy surged through the room, a terrifying howl that tore at the edges of reality. The walls of the hospital shook. The stolen paintings on the walls shrieked as the entity within thrashed, its connection to their world severed. Virgil was tossed to the ground. The hospital plunged into an unnatural darkness, the entity's death throes reverberating through the building. Slowly, the town of Brick returned to silence. The chilling grip of the ancient entity dissipated. The dreadful chorus ceased. When he emerged from the hospital, dawn was breaking, casting an ethereal glow on the town. He felt a weight lift from his heart, a heavy fog clearing from his mind. Yet the town was forever changed in his eyes, its serenity bearing the invisible scars of the unseen terror. As the sun rose, he was not the same man who had first stepped into Brick. He carried with him the haunting knowledge of the ancient entity, the daunting truth of cosmic horror. The world had deepened, stretched, and twisted into dimensions he had never known existed. In the end, he had escaped from the unseen. Yet he would forever remain tethered to the profound, unsettling truth, an echo of a cosmic horror whispering from the shadows behind reality. We appreciate you tuning in. If you fancied the content, show your support with a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to keep up with our eerie adventures. Eldritch Tales Factory has plenty more to offer. Until next time.